In today's video, I'm going to give you the secret to great water droplet shots in macro photography. Let's jump in. Welcome to another video and welcome back to my makeshift studio, otherwise known as my living room. So in today's video, I'm not going to keep you waiting for the secret to great water droplet shots in macro photography. I'm going to tell you straight away what it is. It's a syringe. And another product, nitroglycerin. No, nitroglycerin, vegetable glycerin. Don't use nitroglycerin. Sorry. So yeah, vegetable glycerin. It's the secret to keeping the water, or the vegetable glycerin in this case, still whilst you're taking photos, and you can work with it for hours and it will just sit there. Whereas water, obviously, at different temperatures will have different viscosities, so it will drip, it will run, and the colder it gets and the warmer it gets, the different sort of movement it will have. So vegetable glycerin, not nitroglycerin, is the key to using to getting great macro shots. So there you go. If that's all you wanted to know, you can click off. Thanks for watching. Okay, so some of the items you're going to need to start with water droplet photography is a syringe. Now I've pre-filled mine with vegetable glycerin, and you're going to also need something to hold whatever it is you're taking photos of. So in this case, I've bought these clips, little crocodile clip attached to a block. Both of these, by the way, available on, I bought mine on Amazon, other shops are available. Around £10 or £15 for the syringe and about £10 for the blocks. You get a pack of like 8, I think it is, which I only ever use 2. So that's that. You also need something you're going to take photos of. So in this case, I've got a piece of string and some flowers. Your camera with the flash on. Wow. I'm using a ring flash, but you don't have to use a flash at all because you're indoors, and you can use the ambient light. Stick your camera on a tripod if you need longer exposure times to get enough light in, or you can use off-camera flashes, studio flashes, constant light, however you want to choose to light your product. Obviously that's a creative choice, and that's all you're going to need. Oh, and in my case, glasses, because I can't see in my hand in front of my face. Okay, so we've got our 2 holders here. Apologies if you can hear any background noise, by the way. The kids are at home playing computer games. They get quite noisy, and you've got the tumble dryer probably going in the background, the washing machine, or whatever's happening. So there we go. So this is going to be, it's not going to be a great composition. You can, the other thing I could say is to this is you could add backgrounds to this, obviously, and it's going to make the image look a little bit better. But the way I'm doing it is, obviously I'm using the ring flash, so it's going to isolate the string, and the light is just going to fall off to nothing, so it'll just be black behind. Okay, so get your syringe and just make sure the end's clean and dry. And then what you're going to do is add excuse me. Then what you're going to do is you're going to add a small drop to the end of the syringe, so it just holds on the end of the syringe like that, and then just place it on your string. So remember, you go in, it's probably getting a bit too big now, so just try and remember that you are, it's too big. Okay, so that's one. You are going for macro photography here, so you don't want the drops to be massive, and obviously the weight of them will affect them still. I mean, just because it's vegetable glycerin, it's not it doesn't bypass the laws of gravity. The reason for the syringe is just more so you can control the size of the droplet that you're putting out. Got a bit of air in this actually, so what I'm just going to do is just going to get rid of the air out of the syringe. You don't have to push very hard, on the syringe to start getting some out. So just remember that the different objects, the glycerin will behave differently. So, but it's not ultimately, if you use small enough drops, it's not going to run off. You can just control it a little bit more. So if I give you an example, like this surface, for example, here, if I was to put a drop on there, you can see, I don't know if that shows up on there, but you can see that's not moving. And obviously the bigger the drop, gets, the more it's going to be affected by gravity, which is common sense really, but it just gives you an idea of how much you can play with. So I've got my drops on the string, and like I said, did I say before that the composition's not the greatest? It's just for demonstration purposes. Okay. And then I'm just going to take, excuse me, then I'm just going to take a photo. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to take one without the flash on at all, just to show you that you can light it in so many different ways. I might just hand hold it. So for this, without the flash on, I'm going to need, so because I haven't got any external flashes going on, I'm going to use ISO 800, 125th of a second. And I'm going to put my aperture down to 2.8 because I don't really want a great depth of field on this. So I'm going to try and keep that low. I'm just going to show you what that looks like. Take that off there a second. But obviously, because we're working with such a shallow depth of field with no flash on, parts of it will be in focus, parts of it won't, and it'll be a bit harder to get a non-blurred shot. So now I'm just going to pop the flash on. Turn that light off, because that's going to make no difference at all. Turn the flash on. Okay. So there you go. So that's that image. That's the string. So you can see, obviously the creative possibilities are endless with this sort of stuff. You can spend hours doing this. So this is just to quickly show you. So now what I'm going to show you is the piece of whatever this is, flower. So now with this one, what I'm aiming to do is to get, I don't want too much stem. Don't want too much stem because obviously it gets a bit weighty at the end, so the shorter the stem the better. Just give it more of a grip. So just that photo on its own without any water on it. I'm just going to show you what it looks like. So I'm just going to pop some drops into random places. Okay, so what I'm doing, I'm getting the drop into the petal and then I'm just pulling away on it just so it lets go. like so. And then that's obviously, it's got a shallow depth of field. Even though it's on f8, you've still got a shallow depth of field with macro photography. So if you wanted to have the whole thing in image, the whole image in focus, obviously you'd have to focus stack your image, put your camera on a tripod and take multiple shots, which I'm not going to do just for this demonstration. With the flowers, the types of surface, you've got porous surfaces, so stuff that's going to absorb the glycerin will affect it, obviously. So if you're using wood, for example, and it's like quite an open type of wood, it might just absorb it. The string absorbs it a little bit. So yeah, just be aware of that. But generally, using vegetable glycerin, you'll have more control than you will with water because it's thicker and it just stays where it is. I've popped some in here and it's mixed with 30 or 40% water, or I'm not entirely sure. I'll pop the ratio up here somewhere. And that just allows you to spray it and get a finer spray. So you would use it on, like if you wanted this to look wet and cold, which I will pop outside now and I'll spray it and I'll bring it back in. I'm not going to spray it in here because it will go everywhere and the wife will kill me. So give me 2 seconds. Okay, so just sprayed this can and you can see the glycerin on it and it's not moving, and it will just stay like that for, well, forever. I think. I don't think there's ever so if we pop this on here, okay, so get that on there. Okay, move that to there. Let's do that without a light now. Just do backlight in. So there you go. So that's the same shot, but as you can see, the glycerin holds its place. Now, I'm not saying glycerin looks better, so use glycerin instead of water. I'm just saying glycerin is more, you're able to work with glycerin, vegetable glycerin, a lot easier than you are with water. So if you were doing product shoots, or if you were spending a lot of time with a product that you wanted to look the same every take rather than dripping off, so if you got water, for example, water might drip off the product, you might end up, it might just end up wasting a lot of your time. Whereas if you were to use vegetable glycerin and the vegetable glycerin stays the same every time and you know it's always going to be there, so it might just save you a lot of time and effort in the long run. So that's the reason I use vegetable glycerin, is not because it looks better, but because it reacts better. It's more malleable. You can work with it a little bit easier. Okay, so the ending for some reason isn't on my files. So I've recorded it, but it's not there. So I'm just re-recording up my phone because getting all that lighting out and all the stands and the backdrop and all that sort of stuff just to record the ending is really not worth it. So if you've made it this far into the video, thank you so much for watching. And if you haven't already, please do consider subscribing to the page. And if you did like this video and you found the content useful, please do consider giving it a thumbs up. If you like other macro stuff, I'll pop a link up. I'll put a little video up here at the end and you can check those videos out, and I will catch you on the next one.